All right, good evening. Welcome to our group coaching session tonight, and the focus is around navigating the new normal. So one of the things as I was thinking about with the changing landscape that we have in our environment, and with governors now releasing us, some of us back into the workplace, the way we do life is now going to be new all the way around. And it's going to challenge us to think about every aspect of our life and how we do things. How we typically have done things in the past is no longer going to be the same. So everyone is talking about this new normal. And with that new normal, that comes a level of stress and anxiety. One, because we don't know what it's going to look like and we don't know what it's going to be. But the second part of that is that it's different. It's change. And research has proven and shown that most humans and most people don't do well with change. No, most people don't run looking for change and desiring change. And if they're introduced to change, initially their first reaction is to feel some type of way about it. So when we better put ourselves in a position to know that there is something going to happen and we can think proactively, hold on to that word right there, proactively about what's going to happen and what we're going to experience, this will put us in a better place to navigate that. So that's what our focus is on tonight. So before we jump in, I like to do a check-in, and this is a little different. So the check-in for today or tonight is I want you to pick, everyone have seen the Hershey's miniature candy bars. Everyone has eaten those and at least one time in their life. So I want you to pick, if they were laid out on the table and you could choose any one of these bite-sized candy bars, which one would you choose? Which one would you choose? And give you a second. I'm going to give you a second to think about that. If you could choose any of these bite-sized candy bars from the Hershey's miniature candy bars, which one would you choose? All right. If you could jump off and mute and tell me your name and tell me which miniature candy bar you would choose.
It's Chris Henry. Definitely Crackle would be my first choice.
Okay. And if you had a second choice, what would it be?
Mr. Goodbar.
Okay. Crackle and Mr. Goodbar. Okay.
I'm Johnny. I chose the milk chocolate.
Okay. Milk chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Chris, Crackle, and Mr. Goodbar, and Johnny is, you said milk chocolate, right?
Yes.
So this is a little warm opening that I discovered years ago, but it kind of gives you insight on your personality based off of the chocolate that you chose. So I'm going to give you the characteristics. I want you to look over them as I give them to you. All right. So if you are a Hershey's milk chocolate, which that's what you were, right, Johnny? Okay. So you are an all-American type of person, a cheerleader for programs. What else does this say about you? A good PR person and a great fundraiser. Kind and thoughtful. You always remember everyone's birthday. You're playful, nurturing, and interested in helping others shine, dependable and loyal. The kind others turn to for help. What do you think about that?
I agree with some of them.
You agree with some of them? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What jumps out to you as definitely says that's reflective of you?
Kind and thoughtful. I try to always remember everyone's birthday. I think I'm very dependable and loyal.
Okay.
Yeah, I would pick those. Maybe the kind others turn to for help as well.
Okay. Good deal. Let's see. Chris, you were Mr. Goodbar, right? So,
My first choice was Crackle.
okay, your first choice was Crackle. Creative and optimistic. You always see the cup as half full. You have a messy desk or office, but organized. You eventually find the missing item or believe you will. Very hands-on, a little offbeat, funny, friendly, and outgoing. Always willing to help. Appreciative of the surprising things in life, the Crackle, and then happiest in situations that allow flexibility, change, and growth. What do you think about that?
Definitely, yeah, that's all me. Other than the outgoing part, I mean, I think when I'm comfortable and people get to know me, they see more outgoing personality in me, but not right off. But yeah, it's a pretty clear description of me, I think.
Okay. So thinking about this, how do you think that? Well, let me see. I'm gonna. Do anyone want to take a guess on what they think I would choose, or the piece of chocolate that I would choose off the table?
I'm gonna go with dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
actually,
thinking the same thing.
you were thinking the same thing. Actually, it's Mr. Goodbar. That would be my first choice. If I went to anything, it would be Mr. Goodbar. And since both of you, I will say know me, I'm gonna show you my description. Analytical and logical. You can analyze things to depth. Prone to gather data before giving an opinion. Good at playing the devil's advocate at meetings. Likely to see all the possibilities in the situation and drive others crazy by sharing all the what ifs. Not a fan of deadlines. You put off starting projects and could be called a procrastinator. Fond of being an expert, but work in your own time frame. And most comfortable when there are rules that everyone follows, like structure and hate surprises. Yeah, I would say that's me. Definitely. So thinking about these analytical or these pieces that we shared, and here's the one for special dark chocolate, and I'll let you look over those and read those for yourself. But thinking about
I
these
should have picked
different,
dark chocolate, I guess.
what you said?
I said I should have picked dark chocolate.
Oh, this is reflective of you. Interesting. What jumps out to you when you think about the dark chocolate?
Patient and thoughtful, prone to seeing projects through. I'm not a good grant writer. Insightful, reflective. You work well with difficult people, but I am not patient with incompetent people or liars. Yeah. Likely to set a high standard for yourself and others. Dependable. Yeah. I should have picked special dark.
I mean, and here's the funny part about it is you can have multiple personality characteristics, if I would call them anything, and it all depends on the scenario and the situation. The question that will extend to you, what does this tell you about yourself? And how can this influence the decisions that you make in life, or how you navigate life, if you will? So this is just a little fun exercise that you can think about as we move forward. So tonight, for tonight's purpose, there's two things that I would like to do. Is there's this exercise called the resilience intelligence exercise, and then I'm going to walk you through that, and then we're going to go through what is called future pacing. Both of these tools, I think, will be beneficial in really helping us understand this new normal that we're about to face, and then how to navigate and how to be better prepared and forward thinking, and putting ourselves in a better place so that we can be prepared for that. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your piece of paper and pencil, And I want you to draw this triangle with all of these different boxes in those triangles. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that.
We need to write the words.
Yeah, fill in the boxes with the words. So just for clarity purposes, I state those because I know it's a little light. At the very top of the triangle is feedback and gratitude. Then there's the second tier would be clarity of challenge, willingness to accept ownership, and then clarity of purpose. And then at the bottom tier is resources, strength of community, and belief in ability to meet the challenge. All right. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about, we're going to go through each category and each area. And I want you to think in a micro aspect of it, just in general, not necessarily for any particular reason. And definitely, you don't have to think of it narrowly in what we're talking about today. But overall, your resources and strength of community. This means what people do you have, resources do you have, meaning what community, what's your tribe look like? If you could rate that 1 to 10, what would that be? If you said on the scale of 1 to 10, what does my support network look like? And then you can write it in the actual square if you would like to. 1 being I don't have a network, 10 meaning I have a full network tribe of people that support me and as I navigate life. So to what degree have you built your support network? All right, if you're ready to move on, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready. Good deal. All right, so the next one is belief in the ability to meet a challenge. To what degree do you believe that you can work through and learn from a challenge? To what degree do you believe that if you're presented with a challenge, can you work through that challenge and learn from that challenge? If you could rate that on the scale of 1 to 10, what will it be? 1 is, I'm not ready to meet a challenge. 10 is, whatever challenge comes, I'm ready to meet it and I can learn from it. All right. So this one is going to be the next one. If you go up to the next tier, clarity of challenge, this is going to be more specific. I want you to think about it from this standpoint. Knowing that in a few months, we're going to be back into society to some level. It's going to be a challenge for everyone, depending on the job that you work in, depending on your business, and so forth. How clear are you with the challenges that you are going to face, or what level of clarity do you have as relates to the challenges that you know you're going to face when we get back to our new normal? One is, I have no idea of I'm going to face. 10 is, I'm fully aware of every aspect, which at this particular point, I don't think anyone is. Okay. The next one is right next to this, willing to accept ownership. To what degree are you taking responsibility for the future outcome? To what degree are you taking responsibility for your personal future outcome? Okay, I'm going to jump up to the top, which is feedback and gratitude. So feedback. To what degree do you gather feedback and try out new ideas? This is a general. I want you to go back to generally now. When you're faced with anything in life, challenges or new things, how open are you to feedback and willing to receive feedback and try new ideas? Again, the scale of 1 to 10, 1 is, I'm not really open at all. 10 is that I want as much feedback as I possibly can get. And then the last piece is, to what degree are you grateful even when things don't go your way? When things don't go your way, to what degree are you express gratitude? All right. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to look at this intelligence triangle, a resilience intelligence triangle. And I want you to think about the different categories and what you rated each category. I'm going to ask a few questions. What's your lowest category? What was the area that you rated yourself the lowest in? And why?
Well, Mark, for me, I rated myself the lowest in gratitude. Um, and I'm going to blame it on being an only child. You know, I kind of like to have my way. Um, and when I don't, I get upset about some things. But even if it doesn't go my way and it does go right in the end, I can't say that I'm thankful that it went right because it didn't go the way I wanted to go initially.
Mm. When saying that, what jumped out, or what did it feel like saying that out loud?
That I need to step back and realize everything doesn't have to go my way. As long as it comes out good in the end, what does it matter?
Mm. And how would that change the landscape of the decisions that you have to make or the challenges that you face?
It's not always about me. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the job done, whether it's, in the workplace or it's in my personal life.
Would your approach to the challenge be different if you approached it from a place of gratitude?
Right now, I can't honestly say,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think stepping back and looking at the overall outcome, and if it came out fine and it didn't go my way, I should just be happy that it came out fine.
Mm. Okay. Thank you for sharing. That's grateful insight. Um, Chris, what about yourself? What area did you rate the lowest?
Um, I rated the lowest at resources, strength of community.
Mm. Why do you think that's your lowest area?
Um, why? Maybe because of just being an introvert, I would say. Um, a lot of times when you need support, you need to ask for it, and so I would say that I shy away from doing that um, more than anything. Um, yeah.
Mm. What would happen if you tapped into build a stronger community and tapped into that community?
I think I could get some things done, you know, definitely faster and probably better because it'll be, more ideas. Um, maybe dealing with people who's more skillful in certain areas that I'm not.
Mhm.
Um, so
When was a time where you did tap into resources and the outcome was good or beneficial?
um, probably more so in both of my areas of um, both of my skill sets in my music um, and doing hair. Definitely with doing hair, if I've reached out to somebody that was better than me or a coworker that does something better than me you know, and they actually help me, then yeah, the outcome is a lot better. In a way that it actually takes me further in my career, you know. And as far as music, uh, yeah, music for sure. There's musicians, there's singers, and who can, blow me out the water. Um, it's just sometimes not the easiest to get them on board with something that's not their vision. But the times that people have helped me, it has been very beneficial, I would say.
Yeah, okay. looking at this chart and thinking about the challenge narrowly, when we look overall at this chart and think about those different areas, so from the standpoint of feedback, how open are we to feedback, or how we respond to different areas, and we've already talked about it. But thinking about the challenge now is we're about to face a new normal, and things are going to be totally different, from the way we shop to the way we interact with people. All of those are going to be different. What have you learned from completing this chart that could help you or better prepare you for the new normal that you're about to face? Think about that for a second. From this chart, what insight do you have about yourself that could better prepare you for the new normal that you're about to experience? Anyone want to share, jump off mute and share anything that comes to mind, or what they're thinking about?
Well, I'll just start with the gratitude, again, back. If nothing goes my way right now, I have my life, health, and strength, and I'm thankful for it. This new normal, one of the other pieces was clarity of the challenge. I'm just really not sure what's ahead of me, whether it's in my personal life or at work. I'm just rolling with the punches. I'm trying to stay safe. I'm staying in the house as much as possible, but I do feel when this is all over, said and done, things are going to be a lot different. And I feel I will walk away with this, with a new look at life. Because this is just such a weird time. In my 35 years, I haven't faced anything like this. So it's a new challenge that I'm unclear of at this time.
Yeah, what is one area that you feel is that's the largest area of unclarity, or that you lack clarity, or that you just are unsure? That's a better word. What area are you feeling mostly unsure about?
I'm just going to go back to the clarity of the challenge. I feel once I get the challenge, I'll be able to, accomplish it, but I don't know what that is right now.
Mm-hmm. What is one thing that you think will change?
And are we just talking about concerning the pie, or just in the world in general?
In the world, what is one thing that in your direct eyesight of life, job, personal life experiences, what's one thing that you think is going to be different and it's going to change?
Well, my hope is that we walk away from this treating each other differently, treating our neighbors differently, treating each other differently. I mean, I really think this is just a time for us to just sit down and realize that, we need to, one, get closer to God, and that we cannot do this by ourselves. And so I know that I've sit down and realized that. I'm just hoping the rest of the world does it as well.
Thinking about yourself, and I'm going to jump over, but what I'm going to sit in your lap is, what part of the ownership do you need to take to create that environment for yourself and the people around you? So hold that. You don't have to answer it, okay. But thinking about the next piece right in the triangle, talking about ownership. What personal ownership do you have to creating that environment for yourself, as well as the environment around you and the people that you influence? Chris, what about yourself? What do you think from this chart? How do you think this will better prepare you for what you're about to experience?
Definitely clarity of challenge. Just working in the service industry, of course, when all this started, all of us were probably like, what the hell am I going to do now if I can't work? But being able to soon to go back to work, the new normal at work will be totally different, because there's really no way we can not have contact with with clients and stuff like that. So we definitely have to come up with something that will protect both myself and clients. as far as the challenge. And yeah.
What do you
I
need?
think clarity.
Well, let me ask you, what do you need in order to face that one challenge or to prepare yourself for that particular challenge?
What do I need? Meaning like what do I need personally, or like what do I need like for work?
In general, the challenge of it's hard in the line of work that you do as a stylist. Space and personal distance is not social distancing is not something that you can afford. So you know that's going to be a challenge.
Right.
Knowing that it's going to be a challenge, what have you done, or what can you do to prepare you for that that challenge?
I mean, I think the only thing that I can think of that we can do is just to completely protect ourselves as stylists, whether we're wearing masks the entire time, gloves the entire time, and making sure clients are washing their hands before they come through, and actually requiring them to wear masks as well, if possible, if we can. If I can do services with them wearing a mask. Definitely, I think I would have to express a level of respect, because, and I say that because my coworkers, we were having a conversation about, starting, and everybody was kind of going in on a rant about making clients do this and making clients do that. And I was just kind of concerned with, we still have to realize that this is a customer service situation. And we still have to show them respect, especially when we need, the services to be consistent for us to, get through it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm making sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. So what I challenge, or what I ask you, is thinking about that first bar on the bottom is what resources, community have you tapped in that you have not tapped in yet to help you with that. So resources does not always mean human resources. It can be informational resources, but then also too, it can be human resources. So thinking about the reason why I really want to go through this particular exercise is because it really allows you to have forward thinking and take a proactive approach. And Anthony, I see you. Thank you for joining us on the call. It allows you to take a proactive approach. These challenges are coming. What fuels most people's anxiety and stress is that they wait till they get in the middle of the challenge and then try to devise a plan to address the challenge. But if you can proactively think, these are the challenges that I'm about to face. Who do I need to be to address that challenge? So you may want to write this question down. Who do I need to be to address the challenge? And then the second question is, what do I need to address the challenge? So who do I need to be? And what do I need in order to address the challenge? And then explore this resilience chart to give you insight on, like, for example, if you rated, and I'm going to pick on you again, Chris, is what did you rate your belief in the ability to meet challenges and learn from them?
I'll put 7.
Okay. So you have a belief that you, when a challenge comes at a high rate, 7, that you can meet the challenge and learn from it. So this is not you're going to ducktail and run from the challenge, but how all of these different things gives you insight to know and better prepare yourself for the challenges that you're going to face. All right. Questions so far? Is this making sense to you?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. What's one, real quickly, just a check-in from everyone. What have you learned about yourself in these few moments? What is one thing that you've learned about yourself in these last few moments?
Well, it's just not one thing, but it's kind of overall. I like the piece for, well, I feel once I get the clarity of the challenge, I kind of already know what the purpose is, um, but I'm going to want feedback from, and this is really in my work life. I'm going to need feedback because I may be going about it the wrong way, and I need to be open up to that feedback and bouncing back to gratitude. As long as at the end of the day, everything works out the way it needs to be, whether it went my way or not, I need to be thankful for that. So it's kind of like a full circle on some things for me.
Yeah, what did you rate feedback?
I actually played around with it. I've crossed out different numbers, but at the end of the day, it became a 6.
Mm-hmm. Why do you feel feedback is important to you?
Because just because I have a good ideal or feel like it's the right way to go, I need to be open to that feedback, because it just may not be right for someone overall. Where I think this is a small issue, I need to realize that it may be a bigger issue for someone else. And if I'm not open to that feedback, then it's going to cause a ripple, I should say, with what I'm trying to get accomplished overall. Because just that one piece of the puzzle is off.
All right. Thank you for sharing this. Valuable and important. Chris, what about yourself? What's one thing that you've learned about yourself in these last moments?
I think overall it helps me kind of identify like where I might be weak at, what I need to work on. Definitely have brought out things to consider, with what's ahead. So I would say I did not totally think about what I need to do to function in the future. I think I kind of just been in this middle ground, like let's see what happens. But to actually think ahead, that really stuck out for me.
Mm. It's good. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's powerful. I think it does, if we give the space and energy to do it, it does give us an opportunity to have a lot of time to on reflect on where we are and where we want to go. So, believe it or not, this has been an hour. So, I have one question to kind of just check us out and to take us out. Is we've been talking about this chart, and to make the connection, this helps us gain knowledge, intelligence about how to be resilient. Think about resilience, and I want you to define what resilience means to you. What does it mean to be resilient? Hmm. What does it mean to be resilient to you? And I'll let you jump off when you have something that you want to share.
I'm just going to say to be able to withstand, and I'm going to finish that in the sentence with to be able to withstand the test of times that are being presented to us.
Hmm. I like that. To being able to withstand the test of time. So the question is, what do you need? It goes back to those two questions I asked you. Who do you need to be in order to stand the test of time? And what do you need in order to do that? So those are your two overarching questions, if you will. Chris, what does resilience mean to you?
What came to mind was to be goal oriented, and to press through, and not to allow uh, anything or this new normal to block you from accomplishing those goals.
Thank you for sharing. That's to goal oriented and to press through and not allow anything to stop you from reaching those goals. So I think the key to what you're saying is you have to have a goal.
Right.
And then you have to be able to, regardless of the challenges and all of the circumstances or whatever you may face, press through to get to those goals and not allow any detour or any circumstances that may come. And that goes back into the clarity of the challenge, not fully knowing the clarity of the challenges, being willing to embrace as you get clarity, embrace that challenge, learn from it, and keep it moving so that it won't stop you. So good insight. Thank you for sharing. Tony, what does resilience mean to you?
Can you hear me?
Yes. You there?
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you
I
hear me?
can hear you.
I'm sorry. What does resilience mean to me? Isolation, you know, to, I think somebody just said, basically stand focused on whatever your goals are. I think this is the perfect time to do that because you're alone, you're by yourself. One of my biggest challenges have been, you know, spending money. I can't go out shopping, so I've been shopping online. Well, I do have a financial goal that I promised myself during this season that I will accomplish. Okay. But then again, those temptations, those drugs that I was so used to doing, which was shopping, spending money like it's nothing, versus now, it's my sit down time. And that's a part of the process of me looking at myself for who I am, bad habits versus goals, and I realized that those bad habits, some of those going to have to die in order for me to meet those goals.
Yeah. So really taking that opportunity to gain clarity. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So listen, I appreciate everyone jumping on the call tonight. We were going to do another exercise, but I think this was meaningful. The other exercise was called future pacing. And I think that we're going to do that for next week, which is talking about we talked about defining who we need to be and what we needed in order to face the challenges that we're going to see. But next week, on the last session that I will be facilitating in this series, is going to really talk about defining a picture of who you want to be, and it's more so goals. Really looking at taking yourself out of the current situation, stepping 3 months into the future, and saying, "This is who I want to be," and dreaming of a place, the person, the place, the things that you want to have, and then putting things in place in order to accomplish that. So definitely feel free to jump in. I'm going to post that link up earlier this probably first thing tomorrow, as well as this recording will be posted on all my social platforms, so you can go back and revisit. But thank you for taking time out tonight and investing into yourself, as well as if anyone needs personal conversations about anything that we discussed or want to think through anything that you're thinking about as it relates to building your community, or as well as gaining clarity on how to be resilient with the challenges in this new normal, feel free to reach out and we can